Okay, quiet please, no one talk. And look, one thing I've heard a lot over many years is I've had a lot of students come to me about the beginning of April after they've done a couple of practice tests, and their comment is, once we do it in class, it seems so easy, like it makes sense to me, I remember everything, but I cannot seem to get started on many problems. The only way to overcome that is, one, you just have to keep trying. You have to say, okay, I'm going to try another practice test, let's see what's getting in the way. Okay, you've got to figure it out. Is memory getting in your way? Is it like you can't start because once I tell you, hey, use this formula, you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Okay, that's just memory. Like you haven't memorized well enough, so you've got to spend more time memorizing. Another thing that gets in the way is this. Watch my hands. I was helping somebody after school yesterday, sorry. Here's what they were doing wrong. Every time we go to work on a problem that this student was having trouble with, her comment would be, I think I'm supposed to do this step, but then I'm going to run into this problem. So she's thinking of step 1 and step 2, and she's freezing, she's stopping. Okay, she's like, I don't know how to get past this problem. My advice to her and to you, and it works really well, don't worry about this. Like, write down this step. She's like, okay, so she would write down the first step. Suddenly she knew exactly what to do to get past the second. But she couldn't see this step until she wrote this one down. So just one little thing at a time. So I try to model that. Like I look at this problem and here's what I'm thinking. And try to think as though I'm you, like I've never seen it before. And I say, okay, an integral. That means nothing to me. It's just an integral. So whatever, keep reading. Next one, same thing. And now I get to what they want. Okay, that's a pretty basic problem in the sense that there's not a lot of data given. So the only thought I have is this. It's an integral that consists of two things adding. That means I can split it. So maybe it's easier to solve two problems than it is to solve one. So I break it into two pieces. I say I'm really trying to solve this. So that's my first step. I don't know whether or not this will help, but you have to practice developing the idea that you don't care whether or not it helps. You just know it's legal, so you take the step. Questions to there? Okay, that leads to another step, which is this. If I'm integrating a value of 3, here's what's happening. You can think of it graphically, it's probably the quickest. If the value is always 3, then the graph would look like this. Okay, question? Okay, watch this trick, memorize it. You'll use it a lot on the AP test. Whenever I can integrate something using areas, here's what I do. I look at the graph, and I pay attention to this limit, and I draw a vertical line. I pay attention to this limit, draw a vertical line. I'm integrating this, so I follow that. And dx means horizontal axis. Now you simply look at what you drew. You will have surrounded some space. Listen carefully to these words. If the space is above the x-axis, then whatever area you calculate, that counts as a positive value for the integral. If the space is below the x-axis, whatever area you calculate, it has to count as a negative value for the integral. So I now know this integral's value is 15. You need me to talk more about that or questions? Please.
So if that doesn't quite work for you, is it okay to just say it's 3x at 0, 5?
Equal, just perfect, yeah.
Okay. Like, one's not better than the other?
One is not better than the other.
Okay.
One is not better than the other. 2 points. So what Dylan said is, hey, can't I just say the antiderivative is 3x? I evaluate that at 0 and 5. I'm going to get 3 times 5, which is 15, minus 0. Same thing, just as fast. Yeah, either way. So yeah. Next, I'm going to pull out the 2. I'm just trying to make things simpler. Okay, it is at that moment that I realize why these 2 clues are useful. I didn't know why they were useful before that moment. This is the integral from 0 to 5. That can be split into 2 separate integrals. So make sure you use the equal sign. It'll save you over and over again, especially on the FRQ, where you have to show the grader you know what you're doing. Big parenthesis. Integral from 0 to 3 of f plus the integral from 3 to 5 of f question. So they told me those are 6 and 4. So now I know this is going to equal 15 plus 2 times 10. So I'm done. Sweet.
Can you ever write out for the glue set?
So multiple choice, you don't have to write anything. You can do it all in your head, you're fine, because they're just checking your bubbles. If it was an FRQ question, first of all, I don't think I've ever seen one like this as an FRQ. They don't really have a requirement as to how much has to be written. So for this kind of a problem, I wouldn't stress at all about how much to write. I wrote a lot so that hopefully you could see exactly how I was thinking. 2 point?
So I know we're not supposed to do this like on a practice test, but like on the actual AP test, is it better to like make an educated guess and like move on, or is it better to just like leave it blank?
Gotcha. No, 2 points. Mike has said that perfectly. The idea of the practice test is for you to know that, hey, first time I did a practice test, you know, I got, 17 out of 45 right. And none of them were guesses, so I know that's an accurate reflection of what I know. Then the next time you're just trying to get better and better. On the actual AP test, do not leave any bubbles blank. Guess on everything that you can't do, for sure. Does that make sense?
Oh, so I just have 2 questions. Can we ask questions about like the past test? Oh yeah.
Yeah, the point is this. Between now and the AP test, all time after school, before school, during class, except for when we have to do in-class testing, which we'll do some after spring break, all of that time is reserved for you to just tell me, hey, like this problem or this one or whatever, I got to talk about it some more. Like I'm having trouble. I don't care what test it comes from, just that you've already tried it, and you just need to talk about it so that in the future you're getting better. Yeah, you can ask about anything. So.
Okay, and then when is this test due? Is this like this next Tuesday, or is it?
Coming Tuesday. Coming Tuesday.
So just on like the first step when you split it and you didn't know why you were doing it, but like you did it because it was legal. So like, I thought that you said we weren't supposed to do anything unless we like had a reason, like we knew what we were doing.
I'll pay 5 pebbles for that. That's very well said. No, that's very well said. Yeah, because I feel like I'm in a courtroom now. Stop the video so it's off the record here.